If you have watched any of my videos, you will know I love anime. I could talk about it for hours, and I do, making lots of videos about Japanese cartoons. However, something I don't really talk about is the books I read. But I really want to talk about it, so I managed to weasel books into my anime channel by making this video. Today, I will be recommending books to you based on some popular anime. Granted, these anime will align with my interests, so if you're not a clone of me, your favourite anime probably won't be here. Even if you're not someone who likes to read, maybe you can finally start. You can tell the people around you that you read and they will immediately think you're smarter. Anyways, before I end up lecturing you on why you should read, let's start the video. Starting off on a sad note, we have A Silent Voice. If you know anything about this anime, you'll know it's, well, sad. In fact, I would say that it's the sad anime. I have seen it so many times and it never fails to make me cry. If you were to ask me for a sad romance in any medium, I would probably recommend this, even if you're not an anime fan. We follow Shoya as a kid, and he bullies the new girl Shoko for being deaf. He is merciless, and he makes a show of it for his classmates. He is a confident little arsehole, taking advantage of a deaf girl. However, his actions come back to bite him when he gets older and everyone remembers his bullying. He quickly becomes the new target, riddled with anxiety and regret. Is it any surprise that he wants to make it up to the girl he bullied? Or is it an impossible task? A Silent Voice asks many philosophical questions when it comes to bullying. It points to the audience, asking if they have ever seen something happen like this, and if they just stood and watched. But most importantly, it asks if bullies can be forgiven, and what the punishment should be for stealing someone's childhood. It's interesting because Shoya is a child himself when he bullies her. But does that mean people have the right to forgive him? And should Shoko even give him the time of day? A book that asks similar questions is Heaven. We read about a nameless boy who is mercilessly bullied by a group of more popular kids. He is completely alone in the world until Kojima, a girl who is also bullied, starts exchanging letters with him. Their complicated friendship is at the forefront of the story, and as a reader, I can't help but wonder why Kojima seems to be so strange. Strange at least compared to the standards society expects. But you know what I mean. Their friendship and Kojima herself ask many questions that are of a similar nature to the ones in Silent Voice. Rather than spreading through the span of the characters' lives, the book takes place during 2 school years, and this means the book is less about forgiveness, but about the ethics of bullying. The author, Miyako Kawakami, asks why the characters bully, and how the characters should respond to it. The book is equally as sad as A Silent Voice, if you're looking for a tearjerker, but it isn't really a romance. Rather than romance, it focuses on more general relationships, but it's just as effective as Silent Voice. The book is written by a well-known Japanese author, who also wrote the best-selling Breast and Eggs. I found the translation easy to read, as the prose is quite simple but effective. Overall, if you're looking for something with similar themes to A Silent Voice, and want to purge some emotions as if you're about to vote in ancient Greek times, give this one a try. So, now I've gotten you somewhat unsettled and ready for a nice, happy book, let's dive into some heavy, long Russian literature. The good stuff. An anime set in Europe, particularly Germany and Czechia, is Monster. You have probably heard of it. It's a long, famous, highly rated manga, but also has a long, equally good anime counterpart. It follows a doctor called Tenma as he solves one big mystery that stretches over time. He loses himself. By the end of the book, he is no longer a kept-together doctor, but a man driven insane by a mystery. A character who also loses himself, much like Dr. Tenma, is Raskolnikov from Crime and Punishment. This book is long, like Monster, and equally as gritty. The best way to describe it is as a reverse mystery. Raskolnikov kills an elderly woman. No, this isn't a spoiler because it happens at the start, and we watch him try not to get caught. This takes a toll on him, causing paranoia as he never knows when he will be caught. just like Tenma doesn't know when his enemy is right behind him. Both of these books have a dark, grimy atmosphere. The writing in this book makes everything feel dreary. It's as if my body temperature dropped and I was no longer in my room, but in 1866 Russia. The darkness makes sense, considering that Dostoevsky had just been pardoned from execution. Coming home and writing Crime and Punishment, perhaps he wrote this suffering between the lines of the book. Raskolnikov is waiting for execution, much like he did. He doesn't know when he'll be caught, when it's coming. Terror gripped his heart like ice, tortured him and numbed him. Dr. Tenma wonders why Johann Liebert, the chilling villain in Monster, will strike again. He is a symbolic execution. The topic of execution and Tenma's choice link nicely as they make us wonder about punishment. Or I guess you could say, crime and punishment, see what I did there? They both make a choice, and we spend the duration of these pieces of media contemplating these choices, along with the characters. Overall, it's a great mystery that'll get you invested despite its length. If you're a beginner, this book is not for you. But if you've read your fair share of classics or want a challenge, then Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky may be up your street. As a child, you probably dreamed of being a pop star or something unachievable. Then you probably went to school and chose to study something you liked. Some people get to do the job of their dreams and some people end up at Mackey's. But imagine a world where your worth is measured by a system that places you in a job you will be best at, and you don't really get a choice in the matter. Criminals are found through advanced technology, and if your mental health goes under, there is nothing stopping you being put away because with a quick scan your psychopath can be determined. This is the dystopian world of Psycho-Pass. While this anime proposed this idea and in my opinion did not present it well, it was still enjoyable. A book that presents similar ideas and does it flawlessly is 1984. You have probably heard your annoying political friend complain that we are literally living in 1984 without even reading the book. However, they should read it because it's bloody good. You may also be familiar with the works of George Orwell if you were forced to read Animal Farm in Year 7, and were probably told a different adaptation depending on if your teacher was a die-hard commie or capitalist scum. In 1984, we read about Winston, who wants to go up against the cruel regime he has been placed in. People live under constant surveillance and are told what to think. Literature is destroyed, and so is individuality. I bet you any money that if they could, the government, Big Brother himself, would scan brains to see who doesn't agree with the system. Winston fights Big Brother, who is a figurehead for tyrannical power. This book is especially great if you're into politics, just like the anime, because you will read about fictional events that aren't so far away from the truth. If you want something similar to Psycho-Pass, that has a little less action and prose that isn't too difficult to follow, then 1984 may be for you. It's one of the first classics I read, and it still sticks with me to this day.
Sato's a neat guy, but his life is going down the drain. He's dropped out of college, only goes outside once a week, and sleeps 16 hours a day, surviving only on a steady diet of instant ramen and internet porn sites.
Side note, I am fully aware that this section is way longer than all of the others, but, you know, I really like Welcome to the NHK and I had a lot to say, so sorry guys. Anyway, now, this might actually be one of my favourite anime of all time. It is difficult to find things that really compare to Welcome to the NHK. It's just so unique. It's not often that you find something that's so funny, but also emotional. It also has this strange quality to it. I think this is because the main character is so good at convincing himself that things are true when they definitely aren't. Welcome to the NHK follows Tatsuhiro, who is a hikikomori. He is terrified of leaving the house, and hasn't for years. He comes across as pretty morally abhorrent, but as an audience member, You can't help but root for him to get better, despite the fact he seems to fail at every chance he gets. I think many anime fans can relate to being seen as a social outcast. Being the nerd sat in the corner reading manga while people around you think you're getting off to the H word, when in reality, you're crying because of a silent voice. We come to this community of anime, for better or for worse, and make friends in this community. Again, for better or usually for worse. Yes, I have been approached by some creatures in my time. Anyway, despite the community and the recent more mainstream appeal of anime, I bet a lot of you can relate. If you're also neurodivergent or suffer from anxiety, then you can find it even more relatable. Especially if you're a 4chaner who is tuning out of this video because I sound like a female, which I'm not, but you know. A book that's, in a similar way, connects this to the social outcasts and the neurodivergent people of the world is a book called Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. This book is about a woman who believes that she is an alien. She hopes that one day she will go to space, but she never does. In this book, we see her remember horrible things from the past. She grew up feeling like an outcast, and in a way, she's similar to Tatsuhiro. He thinks there's a secret organisation after him, and she thinks she's an alien. It's not just the subject matter, but the overall, for a lack of a better word, vibe that is similar in Earthlings. Except Earthlings isn't much more serious, for the most part. Similar to Welcome to the NHK, I can't say that it's easy to watch or I guess read. Not because it's wordy, but because of how uncomfortable some of the situations she has are. I mean, very uncomfortable. If you thought NHK covered some difficult subjects, then wait until you read this. I believe this book will be something you like if you've ever felt like Tatsuhiro, but it conveys the feeling in a completely different way. Hi guys, thanks for watching me waffle about books and anime. I really hope to upload this video soon, but I'm trying to put quite a bit of work into it, so if it takes a little bit longer then I'm sorry, but I try to go for quality over quantity, and I also am a college student, so sometimes it's hard to juggle things, but at the end of the day I just want to get some videos out and I enjoy making them, so yeah. Anyway, if you got this far, maybe subscribe or leave a comment telling me I'm completely wrong and that I have terrible opinions. But even if you do think I have terrible opinions, you probably do too. So, have a good day.